Happy N7 Day, everybody. I hope everyone had as much fun as I did going through Twitter and different social media platforms looking for all the different clues and teases of what could be more information as far as the story goes in the next Mass Effect game. Welcome back to my channel where we cover all things sci-fi, and of course it's N7 Day, so we gotta cover my favorite sci-fi game of all time, Mass Effect. And as N7 Day is Mass Effect Day, past couple years what BioWare's been doing is they've been releasing a bunch of teasers where we have to basically figure out a bunch of hidden stuff to try to get as many clues as we can about the upcoming story. And today did not disappoint. In front of me here we have a teaser image that they released today. And it's sweet, first of all. It's a sweet picture. We got an image of the new unnamed character that we saw in the teaser trailer that BioWare put out today, and a sequence of teaser clips, along with what I think is a really cool new gun right there. But overall, just a very different look than what we've seen in Mass Effect in the past, and I kind of like it. I think right off the bat, let's just get right into the breakdown of this photo specifically. I think there's a lot of really fun stuff to dive into here. Now, we have no idea if this is going to be our main character, if this is Commander Shepard, if this is Liara. It could be anyone. It could just be someone completely random. I have my theories, which we'll talk about later. I have an inkling on who this is, so stay tuned for that in the future. As I was saying right off the bat, this looks to be much more futuristic than what we've seen in Mass Effect before, especially with what is right here, this new gun. Very different looking gun. It looks sweet. I really like the look of it, but it looks different. And then obviously the helmet, it just gives off a much more sleek and futuristic feel. So I think this, I could definitely be wrong, but I think this all but confirms that this game takes place in the far future in the Mass Effect universe, probably around the same time as Mass Effect Andromeda. So right off the bat, I think that's kind of what it shows us here, is that just based off the art style alone and the new gun, the new armor, I do think this is more of a futuristic design, which may point it to some in the same time as Andromeda takes place, or roughly at least. That is not why we're here today. Why we are here today is around his little cape here. Really cool effect right here. We see a awesome image of a club. You know, your afterlives, it looks like a classic Mass Effect club. This is potentially some concept art that they threw in here. It looks really cool. Love the colors, love the vibe, love the ambiance. It's great, but there is a lot of stuff in here that I really want to get into. Just starting with, like, this is the most clear thing in the picture. We just got a human and an Asari having a drink together. But in the between them, this is where this is the first interesting thing I saw. Obviously, there's really nothing you can tell about this side right here. Maybe a little bit of a Solarian head. That kind of looks like it could be a shape of a Solarian head. But all that stuff doesn't really matter. It's just background noise. Like, yeah, there's really nothing there. But this guy, I don't really know this could be. The back of the head kind of looks like a Turian, but at the same time, I'm really not sure. The rest of the body doesn't really look Turian, which is why I don't know. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit. So that one's interesting. But as we move over here to the center of the bar, we get to see some cool things. We get to see the Volus and some Krogan. We haven't seen the Volus since Mass Effect 3. Hopefully, this confirms that we'll be able to see some Volus in the next Mass Effect game. We have I think this is a buff Solarian. I can't really tell. He's missing a horn if it's a Solarian. This is a big Solarian. And I get that the Solarians are supposed to be a little bit bigger, like in lore. But in the original Mass Effect games, they couldn't make the Solarians that big, and they tried to do that with Andromeda, make them a little bit taller and leaner. But this Solarian's kind of buff. Look at the broad shoulders. I mean, assuming it's a Solarian, I really don't know. I've seen a lot of people throw around the theory that this is a Quarian with its helmet off, which would be crazy. Some people think that this is a male Quarian with its helmet off. I don't think the Quarians have this little horn right here. I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong, because obviously we've never seen a male Quarian with its helmet off before. just Tally. And then this Solarian slash possibly Quarian with his helmet off seems to be talking to this lady who at first glance I thought was like Jack. It's not Jack, but like I zoomed in, I'm like, bald lady? Jack. Like I said, 2 more Krogan. Always good to see Krogan. They've never missed a Mass Effect game, so always good to see Krogan. But when we come over here, this is my opinion the keynote of this entire image here. This is a Geth. This is 100% a Geth. And it's not just any Geth, it's wearing clothes. It's wearing clothes. It's a Geth that looks like a Crusader knight or something. It looks awesome. And it's hanging out in a bar. We've never seen a Geth hang out in a bar unless you brought Legion places in Mass Effect 2, but that is clearly a Geth wearing some clothes, hanging out next to an Angara. That is an Angara. And this whole interaction right here is throwing me for such a gigantic loop. I'm like, okay, this at first glance, like everything we've seen up to this point about the new Mass Effect game is that it's all going to be taking place in the Milky Way galaxy. We're back in the Milky Way galaxy. It's going to be a direct sequel to Mass Effect 3. I don't know. Because that's clearly an Angara. Angara body type. That is clearly the shape of a male Angara. And this is the same kind of poncho thing that Jaal wore. This even could be Jaal. We're not really sure, but the poncho thing kind of looks like Jaal, and it's clearly a male Angara. So I think it could be Jaal. It's certainly an Angara. Certainly. 100%. This is an Angara male. No doubt in my mind. Is it Jaal? I'm not sure. That'd be sweet if Jaal was in the next game, because Jaal was by far the best companion in Mass Effect Andromeda, in my opinion. And I did not think the Angara were fleshed out well enough in that game, so I'd love to see them back. I'd love to see Jaal back. It would be great. But that is 100% an Angara hanging out with a Geth. Now, what could this mean? That could be a potential video down the line, but probably some potential tie-ins to the Quarian Arc DLC that was supposed to be a Mass Effect Andromeda, but got put on ice shortly after the game's release. So this is really interesting. This is really the most important part of the whole image for me. But that's just for me, because next, what is this? Who is that, you guys? It can't, look, it cannot be Garrus. If we're in Andromeda right now, if this isn't like, this can't be Garrus. But what we've never seen. Have we ever seen another Turian that looks like this with his little visor, like specifically his blue visor like that? It's probably not Garrus, and I'm probably looking way into that. Maybe this is a normal thing for Turians. Maybe they all just have, well, not all of them, but maybe some of them just wear visors like that all the time. But you can't tell me that, like, at first glance, like even just zoomed out like this, if this was anything else, that's Garrus, right? That's Garrus. I don't know. It can't be. If it is, I don't know. There's one more big thing with this picture that I would like to point out. But before we get to that, Hanar. Okay. Hanar. We do know Hanar. We're on the Quarian Arc in Mass Effect Andromeda. Not saying this is Andromeda, but it could be. It could be. But there's Hanar here. Good to see Hanar back. One of the more memey species of the Mass Effect series. I mean, when they're around, it just feels like Mass Effect. It's cool to see some more original trilogy species characters back. So that's really, really cool. And then the final thing here, this doesn't seem like a big deal to most people, but look at this guy right here. This is actually the first thing I noticed about this picture is look at this guy right here. Look at this hair. This is very atypical for Mass Effect hair, right? I think, is this potentially teasing that we're gonna have below the shoulder hair customization options? I find it hard to believe that they'd throw this long-haired character in here without giving us the ability to put long hair below, this long of hair below the shoulders on our own character. And I know we've had instances like this in the past with how Ashley in Mass Effect 3 had longer hair, Miranda had longer hair, but not like this. We've never seen anything like this. This is very atypical for even just like a random, which I'm assuming at this time is a random Mass Effect NPC. I could be completely wrong. But I think this could be potentially teasing some below the shoulder hair options, which I think is super cool. So yeah, guys, I'm sure there's much more about this image that most people are going to find when they start messing with like the image settings and going into Photoshop and stuff. I'm sure there's all sorts of that kind of stuff all around this picture that none of us have really noticed at all yet. But I think this N7 Day was astounding. They always knocked it out of the park with the teases and having fun with the community and everything. And I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. What do you guys think of this picture and the teases that it has presented to us today? Put your comments down below. Let me know. There'll be more breakdowns potentially of the trailer in the future, and definitely going to be some more theory videos after today. So hit that subscribe button if you want to hear my theories about Mass Effect. I already have a bunch brewing, and I think some of them will be more correct than the ones I've had in the past. So thank you guys for watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you guys next N7 Day.